Rob Mob, what is going on, guys? We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we got things up and running, so we are finally here. We are finally live, and those for y'all that hung out with us in the meantime, I appreciate y'all so much. But today we bring on a special individual. He is a big time name in the Pokemon community. You guys probably know him very well, either from Instagram, either from Pawn Stars. I mean, I can't believe he took the time out to come and hang out with us, guys. So this is very awesome and very generous. So I'm not going to waste any more time, and we will bring King Pokemon himself, Gary Haase. How are you doing, sir, today?
Oh, very good, Robert. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry about these technical difficulties. I think they were mainly my
It's
fault.
all good. It happens. We probably should have figured this out earlier, but it is what it is. Things happen for a reason, and we made it work one way or the other. So that's all that really matters in the end.
There you go. There you go.
So how are you guys doing today?
You're talking to
No,
the
I'm talking to
community
you.
now?
No. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing very well. We were house hunting
That's fun
earlier.
stuff.
Yeah, we were out with, do you know D.
Not too
Brews?
familiar, no.
Okay, at D. Brews on Instagram. He's a shirt designer, T-shirt designer. He's worked with Marilyn
Wow.
Manson and Drake and all the big names. But he's a neighbor of mine, so we were out looking at new houses together, and yeah, so that's always fun.
That is definitely a lot of fun. I still think I'm a little bit far away from house hunting myself, but that should be exciting and stressful stuff sometimes.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
So,
it is.
like I said, I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming out and taking the time to hang out with us, with the Rob Mob on Polish Cards and Zards Pokecast. I didn't think this would happen, and when I reached out to you and you got back to me, I was legit shaking my boots, excited. So once again,
Yeah, well, you do a lot of good for the hobby, and that's very important to me. So anytime I can, help anybody with their channels and with their Instagrams, I try to do it because I know you care, and anybody that would reach out to me cares about the hobby, and that's really what I'm all about these days.
that's awesome. A lot of people don't do what you do, and like I said, I just want to say thank you for coming out and doing this with us. So I think basically
Sure.
I have a set amount of questions that I want to go and ask you, but I'm also going to want to do a Q&A with the people in the chat because I'm sure most of them have pretty important questions that I probably wouldn't even thought of thinking of, if that makes any sense. But
Yeah,
I
sure.
did watch your live
Anything.
with Tuan yesterday, and that was very interesting, and you brought up great things. Even though they weren't Pokemon related, it was still interesting. I know some people were putting in little tidbits of Pokemon stuff in there when they weren't supposed to, but I found a lot of stuff interesting. And you brought up that the CD promos basically got you involved into Pokemon. So I was wondering if you could potentially elaborate on how that all started. Like, what is the significance of the CD promos?
Yeah, sure. Well, prior to the English release, Pokemon was very big in Japan for several years. And it got to be so big and so notorious because of some episodes that were some Pokemon episodes that were causing seizures and, because of the bright lights and thing. Anyway, those news reports went all over the world. And so I heard about it, and was really interested. And I thought, this is going to be big everywhere. This is not your regular, hobby, your regular card game. And so I reached out to Media Factory in Japan, and me along with a group, and me mainly investing, got the license to bring the CD promos and some other promos over here. Before there was even an English card. And then we put them on the home shop, for the time, the home shopping network, and sold them. And then it hit our shores early '99, and then just blew up like nothing I had ever seen. And I had seen a lot. I've been a collector my whole life. I've collected, I probably have 100, 200 different collectibles. And I've been around when
That's
they were
awesome.
released. And so I know, yeah, I know what a special thing Pokemon was, because I had never seen anything like the popularity before.
That's awesome. That you bring up that when it first hit, here I remember still going in line as a kid and hanging out with my actually first and foremost begging my parents to take me to Toys R Us to go ahead and stand in these enormous lines to pick up, and I think they were limiting people to some packs at this point in time. I think it was like 1 or 2 packs that you can pick.
Yeah.
And I remember begging my parents just to stand in that line to pick up a pack.
Right. If you can even find one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was like. And I have 2 sons that are probably around your age. And, they were, 10 years old in 99. And, one good thing about Pokemon is it got the parents involved, because the parents had to be involved with Pokemon, because everybody wanted it. People were scrambling. Parents were driving out of state to get packs. And so the parents had to be involved. So it really brought a lot of parents together with their kids. And that's really what it did with me. Yes, I was on the business side initially, but then that disappeared because Media Factory, doesn't like, other people to make money. So they want to make it all. And so then I just got involved with my sons, and so it brought me close together with them, and I'm sure that happened with a lot of young people for them. So that was a side benefit.
I think that even now, ever since Pokemon has just taken a new level, especially in the last year, right? It's just exploded.
Yeah,
I think that's doing a lot of stuff for families now, bringing sons, daughters with their parents together, and they're enjoying the new modern sets and doing the same thing as when it first released over here. And I think it's absolutely amazing. I know that's how it did it for me with my girlfriend and our son. It did the same thing for us. Brought us closer together. It got us to collecting again, and it brought that excitement back.
Yeah.
And to what I have going on right now, it just kind of fueled that, which I think is amazing.
It actually may be even a little bit better now, because you and most of us are already familiar and have already been enthusiasts in Pokemon. Back then in 99, nobody ever heard of it. So, but now the parents of today not only heard of it, but they were enthusiasts anyway. So it's easy to get there, and plus they enjoy doing it with their kids, because they're very familiar.
But I'll tell you what, it brings me a super major itch to get some of those nostalgic cards back. I've lost a lot throughout the years, and now it's everything in my power to try to get some of that back. But the prices right now are absolutely bananas, and I just can't put that dent into my wallet currently.
Yeah, it's hard. It is hard.
But that is awesome. So you brought the CD promos. That's how you got into Pokemon or heard about it. Did you have anything to do with the production of Pokemon at all? As far as like transferring it from Japanese to English or anything like that? Okay.
No.
So that was a big question for me. I was very curious if you had any involvement as far as that. Now, yesterday you also brought up a certain individual, Eddie Brennan, if I have that correct?
Yeah, Eddie Brennan.
So what was your involvement with him, and how did you guys build a relationship around Pokemon?
Okay, first off, do you know him?
I don't know him personally. I will do some research for sure. I mean, I just heard about it yesterday, and it just kind of like sparked a light bulb that definitely something I want to learn about more.
Yeah, well, his username on eBay is eBirdman, just the way it sounds. And yes, he's one of the OGs. I'll tell you right now. I mean, he's been around since day one, since January 99. We got together. We had a third friend, Steve Gordon, who was big in bringing the birthday Pikachus over, the Japanese birthday Pikachus and a lot of other cards. It was pretty much the three amigos, the three of us doing all that. Steve passed away a few years later, but Eddie and I, when Pokemon took a little downturn, 2003, 2002, 2004, it was Eddie and I together who got involved with PSA. You know, I had them involved with CD promos, but not with English cards. You would search PSA Pokemon in 2002, and you would find 20 listings. And now there's 100,000, right?
You can count.
But those 20, so those 20 listings were all Eddie and I, Birdman and I. We because we wanted to keep the hobby alive, and we loved it, and so we did so many things. The biggest one was getting PSA involved, getting all this stuff, designated and approved, and it took me 3 years to designate Shadowless. So that gives you an idea. There was a lot of resistance from PSA, plus a lot of other things we did, because Pokemon just simply wasn't as popular for a couple years. But then, fortunately it stayed alive, and then it came back
super strong.
with Nintendo, and then, going up to, the late 2000s, and then up to Pokemon Go and this period. I mean, it is an amazing thing. But Birdman, I have a lot of respect for, and he's been like a brother to me for 20 years. And without him, we would not be where we are today.
I don't doubt it whatsoever. I don't doubt it whatsoever. Because there was that period, too, where kind of Pokemon made a downturn, really, right? Like, it just kind of fell off. People were starting to forget about it. The hype was kind of over. And now, if you can get your hands on some of those sets when it did kind of hit that slump period, you're in for a good, nice little investment there. But, ever since Pokemon Go, I feel like Pokemon, it just took a complete new level. And the hype is back, and I love it.
I do too. It keeps me busy. I'll tell you that. I mean, I must get 100 to 200 messages a day just on Instagram, just asking questions and wanting information. And, is this card worth anything, or what condition do you think this is? I get hundreds of those a day, and I answer probably 99%. I try to, as well as I can. So the more questions you're getting, that means the more interest there is. And yes, there is a ton of interest. And also from the young people today, with these modern sets, which is great for our hobby. Yeah,
no doubt. On top, now that you mentioned it too, every time I feel like you post a card on Instagram that's up for sale, it just leaves like hotcakes. It doesn't last long.
They like to buy from me. Yeah, well, I think not only because I think my reputation, but I think it's a lot of them want autograph thing. They say, I want to buy this, but will you autograph it, or autograph the case, or something like that. So I think I have a little advantage there. Plus they know they can trust me. To give you an idea, I would say 19 out of 20 buys they make are all friends and family. And I'll tell you what, and that's because they know they can trust me, but it's also because that's the way I feel about this, and the way I feel about them. I mean, this is just totally family. I guarantee you that the majority of your viewers know who Birdman is and have bought from him over the years. And I mean, there's a real intermingling of friendships. And of course you have your little things here and there, that happen, but overall there is no better community than this. I mean, it's just crazy how good and honest and positive and smart this community is.
I completely agree with you. I have met some of the best people ever since I started the YouTube channel. I was having a tough time in the beginning. I'm by no any means a huge YouTube channel, but in the beginning I was having a really hard time, right, trying to get that 100 first subscribers. And I kind of just by chance went through Twitter and met some people, and we all started talking. Then we did a tournament and just started opening packs and talking between each other, and we formed like just a bond. I've never met these guys in person, but I've talked to them on Skype and brought them some on the Pokecast, and they are some of the best people I would have never thought I would have met in my life had it not been for Pokemon. it's crazy the kind of relationships you can build and how strong a community is, and it's just all fun, and I can't ask for a better community to be part of.
You know, something interesting, I don't think a week goes by where I don't have somebody with their husband or wife over here at my house who I've never met before. I just know them through social media, but they come here to talk and you know, to introduce themselves and to spend the afternoon. I don't think, you can ask Twan, my wife, I don't think a week goes by where we don't have somebody who comes over just you know, from out of state, all of them from out of state. You know, of course, I'm in Las Vegas, so that's not a bad place to visit anyway. But yeah, you're absolutely right about what you're saying. I mean, these are people that never met. They come to your house. They're so smart and so Pokemon smart, and so much to share, and just flat out good people. I mean, this is a special thing we got going.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It is an amazing community, and these guys support each other every single day with anything and anything, buying, selling, collecting, giving helpful hands with, especially with this COVID thing going around, reaching out, giving helpful hands to anybody that needs it. And like I said, if some of these people I've never met before and reached out, help, talk to somebody in need, it's just amazing what something like Pokemon can build and do and make into a greater purpose and cause, which is absolutely amazing.
Right. One of my big tips for everybody is, you know, when you sell stuff to somebody or when you trade with somebody, stay in touch. You know, keep up with them, become friends. You know, you talk to them. You know, I mean, I sound like I do nothing but just give out advice, but I can't tell you how much I learned. I watched a video yesterday where I got 2 tips I never knew that were unbelievable, great tips for shipping. And so, I mean, it works both ways.
No doubt. You actually provide some really good tips, too. I remember watching your video on the base set to still leave it sealed, to just put a slit in it to get the contents out, but still leave the box in nice, pristine condition. Just tips like that are freaking awesome.
It works perfect. 100%, and I've sent in 10,000 cards, so.
No doubt. I actually have a question from you in the chat that I think is actually pretty good. It says, Rob, ask Gary, did Pokemon ever reach out to him for help in the U.S. market?
Yeah, that's a tremendous question. Oddly enough, Pokemon has not. A lot of other avenues have, and I've tried to help, but no. They are so under control that they have not after 20 years through WotC era and Nintendo. No, they really don't. Wow. They really haven't. No, and yet had they, I would have been right there.
Doubt. I can't believe that. That's, I mean, you have such a strong arm in Pokemon and promoting it and collecting it and investing in it. I can't believe that that's never happened.
Yeah, I know. It is something. Yeah.
So, another question, too. So, you have the name Gary from Pawn Stars as your Instagram, and I've seen that episode. I think it's a phenomenal episode where you met with Rick and brought in the most insane Charizard collection I've ever seen in my life.
Can I
yeah, no doubt.
One thing? That is the second most viewed episode in the history, segment of an episode on History Channel, on all those channels. It's the second most viewed in history out of 2,000. That is the second most viewed. So that shows you how popular that segment was.
Absolute insanity. Yeah. I mean, I remember watching on History Channel, then I remember rewatching it on YouTube. It's a great segment. Right. I mean, how can it not be? You bring something to the table that many people can only dream of having one of, right? And you just bring in this mass collection to the shop, and it's just mind-blowing.
it got a lot of adults. It got a lot of adults
Yes.
watch Pawn Stars, and so it got a lot of adults and parents, double check. You say, well, what is
Oh
this
yeah.
Pokemon stuff? We had some Pokemon around here, or is this what my kids are bugging me? Always get Pokemon. I mean, it got a lot of parents are involved with Pokemon, because that kind of
No doubt.
legitimized it, because they see this old guy there with an incredible collection, and they think, well, maybe there is something to this. And so I've had many messages from parents, saying that, we saw you on Pawn Stars, and it really changed our view, of what Pokemon is all about. That it's not just a kid's game. It's actually a serious collectible.
No doubt.
So,
I actually had this conversation with my dad, explaining him how some of the packs, what they were worth currently right now in today's market, and the booster boxes, and all he could do is just slap his forehead, and be like, wow, that's, who would ever thunk at that point? I gave you a hard time taking you to that Toys R Us line to get one pack. We should have just went and bought them all out if we could have, knowing what I know today. I mean, we could have made a down payment on 7 houses, with the kind of money that's bringing in right now.
Yeah. Yeah, just socked them away, and
Yeah. No doubt. So after the Pawn Stars episode, you guys ended up not making a deal on that episode. Did you end up piecing out any of your Charizard collection? Did you hold on to it? And how do you have any regrets about not selling it, or are you thankful that you didn't?
Well, to tell you the honest story about that, the full story about that, I was actually recruited to appear on the show, because with Pokemon. Now, this was, I think, October 2016, and then it aired 6 months later in 2017.
Oh, wow, that took a little bit of time.
So, so in 2016, Pokemon Go was through the roof. And so they wanted to get something Pokemon related on the show. And so since I'm one of Rick's neighbors in that, and so they they recruited me to be on the show and to bring in something special. And so that was all a setup. The place where you saw it take place, the studio, that's in the back of the actual pawn shop, and it's a mock pawn shop. It looks like the pawn shop, exactly like it, but it's actually in the same building, but not on the main floor.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
So, and then they get some of us, some of the people that are in that pawn shop is always busy because of the
of course.
Pawn Stars. So you have long lines waiting to get in, and so the producers, would get the pretty girls, get them back, say you want to be on the show, just pretend you're a shopper. And so all those places, all those people you see, they're just pulled from the real pawn shop, to wander around and not to look at the cameras and all that. And on my episode, I had my oldest son was there, a good friend of mine from Baltimore, and my wife were all in that audience, or in the customers. So that's all a setup. Now the negotiation is 100% real. I brought the stuff in, I set the price. Had Rick gone with the 500,000, I would have been pretty committed to sell it, though I probably would have tried to get out of it, because I never did want to sell it. I just wanted to do something that would help promote the hobby.
Which was amazing, by the way.
And so when the expert came in and priced them at, I think, 390,000, he said, and I looked disappointed. A little bit of an act, because again, I didn't want to sell them, but I put a price that I would have probably taken at the time. Those cards were worth about 400,000, and I knew that Rick would not pay 500,000 for a 400,000 valuation, right? So
exactly. So you threw out a number basically out there that was like, all right, well, if he takes this number, I'll very much so consider it, but I know he's not going to, so I'm going to keep my collection and walk the heck out of here.
That's exactly right. But had he said he wanted it, he probably would have got it. And to this day, he knows that collection of cards is probably worth 4 times that now. It's probably worth about
very
2 million.
Easily.
So, yeah. I've never figured it out, but there's about 10 Shadowless 10s and 10 first edition base 10 Charizards, and then there's 80 more PSA 10s, all different types, right? I've never added it up, but it's probably worth 2 million now, and so I got to think there's a little bit of regret that he has that he would have him and Chumley. Chumley wanted
sure.
him real bad.
I mean, you could tell in the episode he wanted it really bad.
And the expert, after the show was shot, the expert talked to me privately. He wanted to get involved. He has like 3 toy stores in town, really nice toy stores too. But he wanted to get involved in that. I said, no, I really don't want to. Yeah. Sell.
No doubt. Well, I'm glad you put a number out there that they ended up not buying them for, because it ended up working out in your favor by a long shot. I mean, only 4 years later, and it's worth, quadruple the price. I'd say that was a healthy and strategic move on your part.
Yeah, on a big scale. But now keep in mind, in 1999, when I got most of those in 2000, they were, they weren't valued like this, but they were high valued for the time. And then when Pokemon dropped and prices fell, I went from a big number to a small number back then. But I still didn't want to sell, and I wouldn't sell all the way through to this day. And now they just happen to be high. So
that's crazy that you even held your wits about you and didn't sell them at any point in time. That's just awesome that it worked out that way.
Right.
I mean, it's a crazy, absolutely crazy collection that you haven't acquired. And now, did you acquire those by opening packs, or were you just basically just buying them from individuals that pulled them, or whatever the case may be?
I would say maybe 50, 60, 70% were I pulled myself. Because if you look at my bulk, all my bulk stuff is mint, and that's because I pulled them all. I didn't buy. I don't think I've ever bought a collection, ungraded collection, so I don't have any bad condition cards, and that's mainly because the majority back then I did pull myself, and so I couldn't really put it. I would think maybe at minimum 50% I pulled myself. And probably a little bit more than that.
How did you convince your sons to not play with the cards? I know I was putting some cards in my back pocket and taking them to school. How did you convince them to not do something like that?
Well, when they decided that they wanted to start playing, I was living in Ohio, and I had a collectible store in Pickerington, Ohio, which is near Columbus, near Central Ohio, and back then, when they started to wanting to play these games, I got them interested in Magic, and I got them interested in Mage Nights, the little figures, and so they would go out and play tournaments, with Mage Night, and so they left our Pokemon alone, and that was by design. I didn't want them playing with it. I didn't want them taking it, out of my supervision. And yet they had a lot of other things to do, so it worked out okay. But also at that same time, I've said before, at that same time, they got a little older, 13, 14 years old, and they started to notice the girls around, and they started to get a little more interested in girls than Pokemon. And I already had a nice girl, so.
Of course. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I got another question I found in the Q&A over here in the chat. Sure. It says, ask Gary if he has any idea how much WotC product was printed and left out on the market.
Once again, you're getting some great questions. you see, that's something nobody knows for sure. Uh, I have approximate initial numbers. Like I know that the goal of WotC was to print 10% of the base run in first edition. So first edition 10%, then 90% unlimited. But when it went through the roof within 2 weeks, suddenly they had to keep printing the base set unlimited. And so now it's very, very, very safe to say that the first edition run is way less than 10% of the total base run. Maybe 3%, you know, if I had to make a guess. Now, as far as actual numbers, WotC didn't release actual numbers at the time. And interestingly, once they lost the franchise, if you even mentioned the word Pokemon, they hung up on you. They wanted nothing. They wouldn't answer questions, you know, informational things, you know, things we wanted to know. And they were so teed off by losing the franchise that they wouldn't give any information after that. And if you want to do something fun, call them or send them an email today and see the reply you get. If it's anything to do with Pokemon.
Wow, that's freaking pretty nuts. Yeah.
Now, let me say something real fast. Magic the Gathering, which came out in English about 6-7 years earlier, those, and they were produced by the same people, Wizards of the Coast. There's actually legitimate numbers on print runs and stuff like that. So why it stopped with Pokemon, besides them being a franchise for Media Factory for the Japanese thing, you know, I don't know exactly why, because there are good numbers for Magic, but none for Pokemon.
I got everybody in the chat saying, everyone email WotC today. Find out.
Oh, they're going to love that.
That is awesome. So, what do you think about the modern cards being printed today? By the way, do you collect any modern cards now and try to get them graded out to PSA, especially like the bigger cards like the shiny Charizard or whatever the case may be, the hyper rare Charizard from Burning Shadows, or do you basically just stay back in the WotC realm of cards?
Yeah, I'm very interested in what's going on today. I go to pre-release events and, you know, kind of to help promote them and to do signings and things like that. I'll do whatever I can for the modern stuff. And I think it's really terrific. I like it more than some from the last few years. But as far as collecting it, I mean, I have bunches of, you know, pre-release boxes and stuff like that, but I don't actually collect them.
Okay.
But I do pay attention to them and I respect them. And without that, the hobby would be worse off. And the reason I don't is because, Robert, I have so much stuff to do with my Pokemon collection, and I do have side collectibles too, that the only reason I'm not into it more is because I just flat out don't have the time. And I have a little 5-year-old autistic daughter, and so she keeps us on the run too. And so and my wife is finishing up her master's in special education, and so she's busy with that. And so that puts a little more responsibility on me for what I have to do. And, you know, being a little bit older, it's not easy for me. So anyway, that's the only reason. If I was in a normal retirement or something, I'd be all over these new sets, because I seriously think they're great. And I think they're doing a good job with the releases and all that. But sadly, I just don't have the time.
I agree with you on that for sure. I mean, you definitely seem like you have a lot on your plate right now. And on top of that, I did see your daughter yesterday in your live, and she's as cute as a button. So it was nice for her to pop into the live stream for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. Now, we brought up grading, right, with PSA. What are your thoughts on the new I guess they're not really a new grading company, but CGC, what do you think about that?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a great friend, and I love Charlie Herlacher. I mean, who's going to be involved, with who's been involved with submitting, for PSA, through what are the Lutkins, who submits through Lutkins, and now he's involved. Charlie is involved with, with the new grading company, and so I wish them a lot of luck. And I'll tell you, I believe in competition. I mean, PSA could improve in so many areas, and one area they could improve in is to hire somebody like Charlie for Pokemon, because I mean, they could get, they don't have enough info, for research on Pokemon, and so they don't grade everything, when if they hired, say, but they don't want to pay the money. Well, now with the new grading company, and like first thing they did was hire somebody like Charlie Herlacher. I mean, they're doing it right. Now, personally, I wouldn't want to. I mean, so many of us have so many PSA cards, and that's our collections. And I don't even like mixing Beckett's with PSA. I would say I would support them on a smaller scale, maybe with less value cards, just to support them and my friends. But I mean, I think it's going to help the industry, because it might light a fire under some of the PSA stuff. And so, hopefully it'll help. Now, remember, Beckett's 20 years, PSA 27 years.
Oh, yeah.
It takes time.
100% takes a lot of time.
Now, they do a lot of comics. They already had a grading company. So maybe the road won't be quite as tough. But they got a tough road to hoe.
I agree. Do you think it's going to help improve PSA with their turnover rate as far as submitting cards and getting them back to people as soon as possible?
I can't tell you how many times I get questions through Instagram, people saying, what is up with PSA? I've been waiting 5 months. I've been waiting. There's so much, dissatisfaction with those turnaround times, and PSA. And I got to tell you something, the CEO of Collectors Universe, Joe Orlando, is actually a friend of mine. And so I hate to diss him, but he knows the truth. And he runs the main company now. He's no longer the president of PSA, but PSA, they don't want to hire for decent wages, good, solid graders. And so that really hurts them. People are going to be submitting more to Beckett's and to the new company just by default, because they can't get their cards back from PSA. So PSA is going to have to do something now, which is the good thing about competition.
No doubt. So that's what I thought too. I thought this new grading company would give them a little bit of competition and try to fix some of those areas where they're having a little bit of trouble in. And one of those being, the getting the cards back to the people. I know a lot of people don't like to wait, especially now where everything is fast, right? You get out there, you want your food fast, you want your services fast, you want this fast, you want dry fast. That also falls back to Pokemon. You want your graded cards back as soon as possible. Now, if they were to speed up the process and hire new hands, PSA, do you think it would have a lot of effect on the accurate grading of a card?
Yeah, I think I got to tell you, I think the guys do guys, and there's a girl too. I think they do a terrific job. I think they're very consistent. I mean, Lutkins and Charlie does a pre-grading service. He pre-grades them for you, the customer. And when those cards come back, I mean, they're spot on. They're spot on. I do my own pre-grades. Every card I've ever sent in, I had written down what I expected it to be. And the consistency has just been remarkable. It's been very good. Those guys do a really good job considering the circumstances. And so I think if they the training is important. Get those guys in and get some new people in, speed up those turnaround times. I have nothing bad to say about the current employees. It's just the company system that needs to be worked on. But the consistency of grades, I'm very impressed with. I always have been.
Yeah. Now that you make up Lutkins too, but one of my buddies too, Centurion XYZ, he actually brought that service up to me and told me about how they do kind of like a pre-grading service and how pretty accurate they are. And they'll tell you, this is what we think we're going to get. Do you want us to still submit it and try the PSA route, or do you want us to hold on to it until you get your cards back, and we'll send you those cards back if you're not happy what we think the grade is going to be? I think that's awesome.
And you only pay $1 or $2. Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
That's
I
tremendous.
think that's a very good feature they have.
Wonderful service. Yeah, it really is. It really is. They do a terrific job.
I definitely agree. I also wanted to thank Tuan for setting all of this up. She is awesome, and she fought through it, and we finally got up and running. And my question for you about her was, did you get her into Pokemon, or did she kind of have a Pokemon thing about her before?
Yeah, I got her into Pokemon. We met, years ago in Vietnam. I was the director of a resort right on the South China Sea, in the south of Vietnam, right on the Indian Ocean, or right on the Chinese Sea, and I was the director of the resort, and then she was hired to be the assistant director of the resort. And also she spoke fluent Mandarin and good English. And so and all the employees, nobody spoke English at all. So I needed somebody to help me communicate with the employees. And so that's the way we met. There was no Pokemon at all in Vietnam. I mean, to this day. To this day, there's no Pokemon. So she had never even heard of it. In fact, Vietnam, they never even allowed the Pokemon cartoons to be aired, and so they were blocked on the internet. They were blocked on TV. So, so there was no Pokemon. But then when she, we made a deal that she wanted me to stay in Vietnam. But I had 2 sons that were middle teenagers here. And so I said, well, listen, come back with me 5 years from now when my boys would be ready to go off on their own. If you still want to go back, then I'll go back with you to Vietnam and I'll live there. Thinking that once she spent 5 years here, she'd probably want to stay because it's, I think for obvious
you knew what you were
reasons.
doing.
Yeah, but had she said, let's go back, I would have went. I promise that. But, she got involved. She had degrees, college degrees from Vietnam, but she came here to UNLV, our University of Nevada, Las Vegas, got her bachelor's degree. She's gone on to her master's. She's established a life. We had the little girl. She is her first year here. Obviously, if you know me, you know Pokemon. And so she started to get involved with it. First, she started off helping me with shipping, helping me with records. She's a little better than me on computers and stuff. And then she started helping me on listings and paying attention to Pokemon. She started doing some of her own buys. She started to build that, and she has a nice collection. If you look at her Instagram, which is Tuan Tong Haase, maybe you can put it, so they can see it. She has some really nice cards. She has some cards I don't. So, so over these, she didn't originally, but the bug got her just like it got all of us.
No doubt. Yeah, I actually checked out her Instagram page, and she actually has, I'm going to put the links in the description below as soon as we're done with this Pokecast, to her Instagram, to your Instagram. And she has a giveaway going on. Do you want to talk about her giveaway on her channel right now? On her Instagram?
Yeah, this is actually, I'm going to tell you something that she didn't. The card that she's giving away this week, she's giving away Charizards and Blastoise. She's giving away a lot of stuff. But this one is a PSA 9 Venusaur
that's
CD
what I saw
promo.
yesterday.
And and the CD promo, if you look at the serial number, it's one of the early ones that I graded myself in 20 years ago.
Wow.
In that, but she got that card from me we did a 3-card trade, and
no doubt.
For fun. We do that for fun. But anyway, it's a CD promo. It's a beautiful one. It should have been a 10. Whoever gets the card is going to see that, and might want to cross grade it or something. And then I included a green custom stand that I signed. The green stand matches the green.
I love it. Yeah, it's nice.
And then I signed the back. So yeah, that's kind of a special one, and she's already gotten hundreds of people.
Oh, I'm sure.
Interested. So yeah, so that card they really like, and it's one that I graded myself 20 years ago. So it might have a little special meaning.
That is awesome. And I got one of my moderators, small openings right now, putting her Instagram in the live feed, guys. So definitely click on that link. Make sure you're still in for the live, for the Pokecast here with Gary. I mean, of course, but take a separate window, click on the link, and check out her Instagram, give her a like, get into the giveaway, and follow her. They did a live yesterday. Are you guys going to keep doing lives like that? I found it very interesting.
We've done 2 now, and I think so, because the one yesterday, the first half was so clear and nice, and then suddenly it started freezing and stuff. But the first half looked so good, and even I didn't look too bad. That was okay. So yeah, we are going to do more. We are going to do more things together, and because she seems to be pretty well liked.
Oh yeah, no doubt. She has a great personality, very likable personality, and I love doing the collabs with significant other. I do mine with Chelsea every once in a while with a video or go live stream, and we just have fun with it. We can have laughing moments or sad moments where we don't pull anything good, or just talk anything and enjoy it with others as well. I mean, that's what Pokemon is about, right? It's not about just Pokemon itself. It's about the experience and sharing it with others or significant others. I think it's super important. And I think a lot of people in the live stream right now that will watch this Pokecast later can totally agree with me and you on that idea.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So I have another question for you, Gary. You are more of a collector, or are you more of a seller now?
I'm a horrible seller. I put up maybe 1 or 2 things a day on Instagram, and then my eBay, I sell 2 things a month. I don't sell very much, and kind of because every time I ship off a package, I feel a little bit bad. I am such a collector.
I hear you on that.
But I have so much stuff though that other people don't get easily, and like I ship worldwide for free. I ship all over the world for nothing, just because it's important, to people all over the world to be able to get this stuff, and I think that's why I sell what I do. Plus, I mark things at bottom market, absolute bottom market. Like yesterday, those CD Charizards yesterday or the day before. If you look at the comments, everybody said, "Why are you selling these so cheap?" In that, it's because I'm not a good seller.
Well, I mean, you also have a good heart, right? And you always try to promote the hobby. So it's like, why not share with somebody else that's really going to cherish this card? Now, it's kind of going to stink if you sell it to somebody and they just go out and flip it. But it's more satisfying when you know that you sell cards to somebody that's really going to appreciate it. Like I sold some cards to a buddy of mine that I met also through the Pokemon community, David's Pokelife, and he did a video on the cards that I sent him. And I mean, he was just riddled with happiness and joy. And the fact that he was able to hold those cards meant a lot to him. And that meant a lot to me, It's like, it wasn't just selling it, right? It was giving it to somebody for almost a next to nothing price. And they're going to actually enjoy the cards forever. And that's important. And it helps me out in the end because I get to use that money and I don't spend it anywhere else. Like, I just use the money to invest into more Pokemon cards. I'm a small channel, so I like to buy I use that money to buy more cards so I can provide content to anybody out there that's either not able to buy Pokemon cards because they can't afford it in the current market, or just enjoys watching Pokemon videos and hanging out and being part of the community. So it's not like I, go off and use this money for something else. I just reinvest it back into Pokemon and try to provide content to share with everybody out there in the world.
I love that. I love that.
So so I could definitely see why you're definitely more of a collector, and I definitely feel the pain with selling the cards. It's like a little part of you, a little piece of you is just missing there. But as long as you get to somebody else that's awesome out there and is really going to enjoy the cards, I think that's what really matters in the end.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly
no
how
doubt.
I feel about it.
I have now that I mentioned that too, I have another great question here in the chat. It says, "What does Gary think about the scalpers that buy up all the product at the stores to resell on eBay for double or triple the price?" And I think this has a lot to do with Hidden Fates as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a sad state of affairs myself. I think they should limit. They should limit that. They shouldn't allow it, because those people don't care about the hobby at all. Okay. Now you take somebody like Nate, who Real Breaking Nate, who's a good friend. We talk all the time. He'll go into places to buy stuff, but he'll only buy one or two because he doesn't want to take all the product.
Well, he wants to share with everybody.
People that come in. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's it. He'll go to 5 stores to get 1 box before he'll go to 1 store and get 5 boxes. And I respect that a lot. As far as not flippers, but, people that come in and just, empty out store shelves. No, I'm not happy about that.
No doubt. I don't blame you too. A lot of us guys over here, like especially in the PokeTubing community, we rant and go on big rants about scalpers and selling and the prices being outrageous for no good reason, and just kind of ruining some of that part for people, right? That especially, kid walks in there with a couple bucks to buy a Pokemon, pack, and they're not able to find it, and then they go online to eBay and it's quadruple the price. That kid mowed 7 yards to get those few bucks to buy that, pack that he wanted, or chase that card that he really wanted. Unfortunately, doesn't work out. And that's pretty sad. Especially too, repackaging, so Gary, is terrible. There's been a lot of bad situations, and I've seen videos with some of my fellow PokeTubers that they've done, and it breaks my heart, especially when they're doing a video with their child and they're opening repackaged stuff, and the kid is ready, about to cry. I think it's terrible.
It makes me want to cry. Yeah, I know. I mean, whether it's the kids or whether it's you or me or like what's happened to Rusty recently, with to TCA Gaming. I mean, these are such sad situations. I got it once. It's kind of a long story, but I'll try to say quickly. I bought a case of first edition base this many years ago. First edition base cards, a case, a box of 6, and I bought it from Belgium. It arrived. And they were all repacks, just good cards on top that you could peek at. But they were good repacks. I mean, they were really good. But, yeah, they ended up to be, and I mean, even then it was thousands of dollars. But because of my relationship with PayPal, I didn't lose anything. But that was only me. Imagine how often this has happened with all this product. And, it's, you're always going to have those kinds of people that are, that just simply don't care. They're unscrupulous. They don't care. A lot of people get burned by them and you never see them again. They skid out of the hobby. I mean, just horrible.
The repackaging is only getting better and better with some of these scammers, unfortunately. It's very hard to kind of negate whether something you're buying now is repackaged or not. They're getting better and better, and it's kind of scary.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I might start recommending don't get sealed product, because these guys are getting so good that, and yet you never know it because sealed product collectors just leave them on their shelf, like what Rusty did with that box. For years, he just left it on his shelf and didn't even know it was fake. And so, I mean, I would just recommend just buy graded cards or ungraded collections or fill binders.
No doubt. I mean, imagine if he tried to resell that to somebody else, right? What kind of reputation that would put on him, right? Selling resale product that he had no idea was even the case.
And knowing him, because he's one of the most moral, nice guys I've ever met. I mean, it would break his heart. I'll tell you right now.
No doubt. Gary, another question for you from the chat.
Yeah.
It says, Rob, ask about SM Pratt if he has a bigger collection than Gary.
The answer to that is no, he doesn't.
Dominance established.
And I mean, he's one of my very best friends in the hobby. He's been out here. He stayed with me. Lived with me here. No, we're very, very close. He has probably the greatest Japanese trophy collection in the world. Sure. And he has his trophy collection, although I have some I never talk about, but his is probably 20 times better than mine. So Japanese trophy cards, he is the man. And for information, for all that stuff, he's the expert.
That's awesome. SM Pratt, he has a great channel. I watch his stuff all the time, and he has a wealth of knowledge that I sometimes wish that I knew. I mean, every time I watch, his channel or ZNG Emporium or I see you on other people's channel just talking Pokemon, I always feel like I learned something new. Or I've forgotten something and it's like, this just reminded me of that. It's always nice to watch channels like that and find out things that you either don't remember or learn throughout the process.
Yeah, Z&G and Scott, I mean, they're very, very much informational channels. That's kind of why they're there. They're there less to entertain and more to inform. And man, there was a big hole in the hobby for years because that stuff wasn't available. And so they're great. Now, I'm not sliding like Leon Hart, who out of everybody, he's like a total brother to me. I mean, we've been to each other. We've been so many different states together and stuff. But he's primarily entertainment. He entertains people. Michael in Australia, or Ando in Australia, he's that way too. He likes to entertain people, and they're tremendous. They do a great job. So there's a place for all these different styles. Now, I should say one thing. Lee has really tried recently to get into the informational side too. He's doing, Beckett submissions and talking about grading and so he's kind of doing both things now, which I think is good. And I think there's a place for both. It's hard to do both.
It is for sure.
You got to have good personality. You have a great personality. The way you start your show and that I wouldn't do very well. I wouldn't do very well like this, because though I talk a lot, I'm not the most personable, I guess, type.
No, Gary, you're great, man. You're great, and you have honestly a crazy Pokemon experience, and I can't tell you how many people were excited to have you on the Pokecast, and we're counting down the days, as well as I was, to have you on here, because you can talk all day, and I literally will grab a thing of popcorn, a soda, and I can just listen to you all day talk about this stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, we have a lot. We have a ton more stuff we can discuss, so let's do this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm definitely down to do that. I do have a question for you now that you brought up Leonhardt, too, though. Do you have any insider scoop on that missing Charizard?
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you what I think, and that is it's just simply misplaced. I think it's going to turn.
I hope so.
Yeah, so that's how I feel. Having seen the tracking and everything, it just looks like one of those things that got misplaced or fell behind a cart or something. I think he's going to get that. Yeah, I think he's going to get that back. I mean, I pray so.
Yeah.
I mean, how heartbreaking
It's
is that?
super heartbreaking. One, a super expensive card. Two, he pulled it.
Yeah.
Three, it looked like a 10. Four, it's like a little piece of you leaving, but on a not so fortunate circumstance. So
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I actually had that kind of similar experience too. One of my fellow PokeTubers, Pokefied, he sent me some mail. This happened like 4 months ago. And he got it resent back to him because of, I guess, stamping or whatever the case may be. So we resent it back, and then it went missing. And he just messaged me a week and a half ago saying that he just got it back. I mean, it's been 3 months. We gave up all
Right.
hope. He's like, it sucks. I put some extra things in there for you. I was super excited for you to get it. And I'm bummed out, too, because I didn't get it. And he's bummed out because he sent it. And it turned up, finally, a week and a half ago. This has been almost 3 months. And he's like, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to send it off to you because I was going to do a mail day video. And I finally got it. So the package is here. So I'm excited to go ahead and open it up and share with everybody what Pokefied hooked me up with. But yeah, unfortunately it happened.
Was that USA?
It was USPS.
I mean, was it a United States delivery?
It was, I believe, from Jersey to here in Sunshine, Florida. Yeah.
Wow.
So the trip wasn't that far.
I mean, no, I mean, international. I just had a lady in England. The tracking showed it getting to England, and then tracking showed it going back to New York. And then she just messaged me today saying that she got it back in England. So who knows what goes on with all. I mean, yeah, 3 months is possible. I try to tell the guys, the international guys, that, it might be 1 month, it might be 3 months, but, do me a favor, don't bug me. Don't, I mean, I can't do anything. I can't speed it up or all you can do is ship it and pray. And I also got a message today. He'll probably be watching you here, but I got a message today, somebody who bought something 2 nights ago asking me if it was posted yet. As it turns out, I post every day, but I mean, you can't expect that kind of with this COVID time.
It is.
It's hard to get out.
It is. I mean, everything with this is out of whack. How familiar are you in the post office?
Yeah, they're
I'm
all
sure.
friends.
I'm sure you're there in there all the time.
Yeah, I not only that, but customers that they have know me. Quite a few of them know me, and I'd say at least once or twice a week, one of those customers comes and say, "Hey, Gary, how you doing?" They all know me from.
That's
Pokemon.
Awesome, though. That's awesome. I mean, it's crazy because even Pokemon, in that kind of sense, builds a relationship, right, with people that you'd never think you would talk to, and now you have relationships in the post office. I got another segment here with a great question as well for you, Gary. It says, "What's Gary's least favorite Pokemon? Your least favorite card from your least favorite set?"
Okay, I have an answer to that, and an explanation. Like most other things, with most other things, it's base set. When I would get boxes and packs, from the base set, me and my boys, would sit there and open them. We opened thousands, right? Thousands of packs. And the one card that always seemed to stick to us was Devolution Spray. We got so many more than what we had coming in Devolution Sprays. Every single time we'd pull one, we would all fall on the floor and, not again, not enough. It couldn't have been Charizards, right? Or Beedrills. It had to be a non-hollow. It had to be Devolution Spray every single time. And this is 20 years later. And if you ask one of my boys that question, they would probably give you the same answer because that was the one we just hated to pull, and we had a stack of those we didn't deserve.
I hear you on that. I have the same trouble too. It's typically with the most modern sets I've been open lately. It's been Butterfree. every time. Or you know what? From Hidden Fates, it's been that Birds trio. Either the full art form, the hyper rare form, or the ultra rare form. It's been the Birds every single time.
It's always the Birds.
I went live with one of my buddies, EpicTube HD, and we opened a ton of Hidden Fates. I think it was almost 100 packs. And
right.
As we were opening, at one point I said, wow, I can't believe that I haven't pulled the Birds trio yet. And next pack, it was the Birds trio. So I think I spoke a little bit too soon on that one. But I think it has to be the Birds trio for me. They're going for an okay price. It's a nice looking card, but I have too many of them, and I'd rather be pulling the shiny Charizard instead, which I haven't pulled after 500 plus packs. So we're still looking there, Gary.
Oh, no. Oh. Well, I'm pulling for you.
It says, ask Gary what his take on some of the quality of cards being produced these days, like Burning Shadows having so many flaws.
Yeah, well, there were some of the early sets that were condition sensitive too. I think you just gotta, deal with it, know it, it kind of brings up the value of PSA 9.
It does a lot.
When there's so few 10s. So, yeah, I think you just deal with it.
No doubt. And another one, too. Actually, this is a really good one. I don't know if you've been asked this one before, Gary. What are your thoughts about bringing back first edition cards and why Pokemon feels like they don't want to? Yes.
Very controversial subject. Some of the biggest names in the game want that to come back, and some of the biggest names in the game don't want it to come back. They think it's going to hurt. Others think it's going to help. I mean, that is really controversial. Yes, it really is. If I had my choice, I would say bring it back. At least bring it back for a series. It worked out so well in the early sets, in the Jungle Fossil, Team Rocket, the Neos and the Grims. It just added to the fun, I thought. But then, before that, Japan didn't do it with their cards until it caught on so big with us. Then they started adding them on too. They stopped doing it after it left WotC. I would say bring it back, give it a test run. They just don't care enough about the collectors, and that is 100% a collector's benefit. I think we probably deserve it. And I know a lot of people disagree with that, and I think they have very legitimate excuses, for not doing it. But most hardcore collectors, I think they can see the benefit of it. I could be wrong about that, but
do you think
that's how I feel.
More the, not necessarily, I guess, bigger names, but do you think some people would have more of an advantage and early access to that stuff, and it wouldn't be able to get to a regular everyday collector like myself or anybody else just getting into Pokemon? And what do you think that will do with the prices?
I think that I think that's one of the good arguments against. It has always been that. It's always been that who's going to get these first? Are they going to show up on the Walmart shelves? But even in the very beginning, all the card shops. Remember, in 1999, there were tons of card shops. Almost every block, it seemed, and they put them out. They had them out on the shelves when they came out, and so that might be less of a problem than you'd think, but a problem nonetheless.
No doubt. Do you have any card shops by you over there in Las Vegas?
Yeah, we do. I get asked to go to those card shops every so often to do signings and like for all the pre-release tournaments to show
That's
up.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do. We do have, and I usually go with my friend D Bruce, and he's it's funny when you see him and I, like when you look him up on Instagram, D Bruce. you'll see what he creates, the stuff he creates, and he did a couple Pokemon shirts, airbrushed front and back, that are just absolutely
That's awesome.
crazy. I don't think he has any more. They sell out right away, but really, really super talented. But we'll go together to these card shops and do the pre-releases and things like that. And it's a
That's
a
all.
lot
And
of
now,
fun.
are these like mostly like
many-
Pokemon card shops, or are they kind of a mix with sports cards and Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic and?
Pretty much non-sports, but with Magic,
Okay.
and Yu-Gi-Oh, and all the rest.
That's awesome. I actually have a local card shop over here that I frequent a lot. I love it. I love the nostalgia of going to a card shop and just hanging out and looking through all the stuff, and it's just fun. It's literally, I just go there and I just hang out and I stare at stuff, or just have conversations with the guys there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a hangout place. I mean, that's what when I was a kid, we used to go to shops and mainly sports, but just hang out and talk and open packs and have fun with each other. And
No doubt. It's definitely a great, great thing. And I know I've talked to a lot of people too. And I've done actually a few videos at my card shop, and people just like, man, you got a card shop over there. Like, I wish I had one over here. And I wish there were more card shops out there so people can experience that, or go to pre-releases, or go to different tournaments. It's a heck of an experience, I think.
we might see an influx of card shops. They died out in the late 90s, 2000s, but we might see those start coming back.
I hope so. That would be absolutely amazing if they did come out with that kind of stuff. No dang doubt. Ooh, this is kind of controversial. What was that?
Nice poll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice poll.
I got a couple over there. Nothing too nuts. I'm still looking for that shiny Zard from this set, but figured I'd open some four packs and call it quits for Hidden Fates as far as that goes for now. I have another good question.
Well, you know what?
Ask him what he thinks of PolishRob's prices and not being able to buy them to keep sealed.
Yeah. I've never even thought about that. I mean, I know how he does it, and I love watching his stuff. And you talked about somebody that's a positive influence on the hobby.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
he's one.
He has been promoting Pokemon like no other right now. It's pretty wild to watch,
right.
Especially with the vintage stuff, right? With people that haven't seen those kind of products ever or in a long time, and has been knocking it out of the park with those sets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also he's helping me with our new charity drive, at the end of the year, which is a very special thing. It's going to be absolutely monstrous. Wait till you find out about it. But he's PolishRobs is one of the main contributors for me, and he's going to play a big part in that. But that's true of a lot of the guys, Nate and Lee and Lootbox, and I mean, all these guys are very charitable. And when I called them about this new charity drive, I mean, they were in just like that. So you're at some point, everyone's going to hear more about that, and it's going to blow some minds.
I'm sure. I know you mentioned it a few times already, and I'm pretty excited to what that's going to bring for sure. I'm definitely waiting for some more details for sure.
Yes.
I got another one here from Small Opening. It says, ask Gary how many first edition booster boxes does he still have left in his collection?
I have 9. I have 6. I have 6 in a case, in a half sealed case. I open up half. You can't get any boxes out, but just to make sure what was inside years ago. I have 6, and then I have 3 loose ones. It's the same 9 I've had, my whole Pokemon life.
Really? That's wild. Do you have any temptation to ever just be like, well, I guess I'm going to let one go? No.
No.
I don't blame you. I have trouble doing that myself.
Right. At least for things that I've collected for 20 years, those stay in my collection.
now that you bring that up, what do you plan on doing with your collection? Do you plan on passing it down to family, to your sons, to your daughter, or distributing between family members? Like, what's your plan with your collection down the road?
Yeah, fortunately, fortunately, Twan has become very, very astute in what to do with them. So, if I'm 66, if I were to go anytime soon, she would, take control of it and just decide what to do. There was a period of time I felt I had to start selling stuff because nobody would know what to do with it. And I did have a couple guys in the hobby that would have helped out that I could trust. But, now having Twan, now she's 20 years younger than me, so she probably has a lot more time left. She'll be, she'll know what to do with them.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And don't worry about it, Gary. We're going to live for 100 more years. I promise you that.
I hope you're right.
We're going to beat this COVID thing, and then we're going to figure out some kind of medicine that we will all be invincible human beings. All right?
Yeah, there you go. I'd love to have another 20 years.
There it is. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Gary, I don't think I'm going to hold you up any longer. I know you got a busy life. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure you got to go tend to your daughter, probably catch some dinner here shortly.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come hang out and even work through all the technical difficulties with me in the beginning. It means the world to me. It means to everybody that's part of the Rob Mob and the Pokemon community. I hope this video in general goes viral. Everybody can watch it because you are honestly a pleasure to talk to. And you are one of the few that, still reach out to somebody like me or somebody else small and talk back. And it's awesome that you do something like that. It means small things like that mean the world to a lot of us still collecting and into Pokemon. Yeah. And I really, really appreciate your time that you brought for us here today. And Twan for setting this all up. She was awesome. She was awesome from the start. And I'm sure trying to get Skype working was a little stressful, but she made it work, and that was very awesome. And I want to give her a huge thank you as well for making this happen for me, for the Rob Mob, and the Pokemon community.
Right. Well, thank you, Robert. I sure appreciate you even asking me, and I would really, really love to do it.
I'm definitely down to, for sure, Gary. I have somebody else coming on next week that I'm pretty sure you're familiar with as well, and he took the time out of his day also to be generous enough to hang out with us in the Pokecast. It's a Rhymestyle. Rhymestyle is going to be hanging out with us.
Oh. So, can I give you a pre-ad for
go
Rhymestyle? For it. He's another one of those guys who has been nice enough to put himself out there for our charity drive. And he's going to be a big part of it. And I mean, I can't really give anything away right now, but he's one of my partners in this thing. And so be sure to say hi to him. And you can mention, let your community know that he's a very charitable guy and a good guy.
Yeah, no doubt. I talked to him through for a little bit. And he seems like an awesome guy. I'm excited to have him on here, and it's gonna be another fun Pokecast for sure. So I'm definitely excited. I'll be sure he doesn't put any leaks out there for the upcoming charity event you have going on.
Well, you know what? I haven't told them everything I know yet. So yeah, he has seen one little puzzle bit of it, but he's excited too to find out, what all it's going to entail.
That's awesome. I'm excited to have him on too. He has great energy. His videos are awesome. He's been having crazy openings lately, and he really brings the energy to the table. And on top of that, he just hit 1 million subscribers on his other channel as well. And he is rocking and rolling, and I can't wait to go ahead and give him a welcome to the channel and a great interview as well.
Yeah.
For sure, I agree.
He deserves all he gets.
I agree for sure, Gary. Yeah. I agree for sure. Once again, you are the bomb diggity, Gary. You're a legend in this community, and you always go down as a legend.
Thank you.
we don't call you King
All right.
Pokemon for no reason, right? So,
Right,
Gary,
thank you.
I appreciate it. I know the Rob Mob appreciate it. And you might want to cover your ears. I always end my Pokecast with with how I enter my videos. So, might want to cover your ears on this one, Gary. Rob Mob!
I know what
Guys,
it is.
it was
Go
fun.
ahead.
Thank you. And until next time, me and Gary, we're out.
Thank you. Bye-bye.